Hey guys, welcome to SEO in the Shed with me, John Earnshaw, the Chief Product Evangelist at Datametrics. And today I'm going to be talking about the featured snippets and the vanishing classic link, courtesy of one of Google's most recent algorithm updates. Now, it used to be the case until last week, or until the 23rd of January, that in order to get in Google's answer card, you actually had to have a classic link position on page one. If you moved on to page one with that classic link, Google thought your content was the right sort of content to satisfy the intent of the query, then you had a good chance of actually appearing in the answer card. Then Google made an announcement. Google's been on a mission for some time to actually increase diversity in the search results. So it looks like they're finally starting to do something about it. So just to clear things up, what is a featured snippet? Here's a great example for the query Google SERP feature analysis. And here we can see that Google has taken some content from the Datametrics website to create an answer card in order to answer that question or that query. The classic link that you can see below always used to appear on page one as well. Since this update, that's no longer the case. It's vanished. Or has it? In this video, we're going to look at what this means to you and what, if anything, you can do about this to maintain that real estate on page one. Let me look at an example of this. What you can see here, this is a classic visibility index only looking at classic links. You can see one website there, that's WebMD, a US-based medical information website. You can see they have dropped hugely. It appears that they have lost their organic visibility on the 23rd, 24th, and so on. But in reality, if I switch on the hypergraph view, which actually includes all features as classic links, and records that, you can see that WebMD hasn't taken a drop in organic performance at all. Let's dive deeper into the search landscape. Okay, so what we can see here is a search for pain relief for sciatica. We can see, and I've filtered this web matrix view, I've filtered it just for the URL webmd.com. And you can see as we move from Tuesday to 14th of January across, WebMD has been appearing in the answer card. We can see that the returning URL, that page title, is about sciatica pain relief. Now, if I click on the classic link below that, you can see that's the same URL. So as we move into the 23rd, the 24th, and 25th of January, WebMD maintains their answer card but loses their classic link. So that's exactly the sort of result that you may be seeing, particularly if you've got a lot of answer cards. So what does this mean? Well, this means several things. First of all, you may have seen a drop in traffic or rankings if you own a featured snippet, or a number of featured snippets, as in the case of WebMD. If you don't own any featured snippets, you may have seen a slight increase in rankings and traffic, as there is one less URL to actually compete with. However, the featured snippet has become number 1 of 10 results on page 1, meaning there are now 9 organic positions instead of 10. And finally, the right floating featured snippet is also being phased out by Google, which could actually boost that click-through rate on those featured snippets. Now, this update has raised the question, the obvious question. If having a featured snippet means losing classic links and traffic, do we even want one? Especially if you're KPI'd on traffic, okay? And we need users to click to be able to convert, especially for e-commerce sites focusing on terms with high commercial intent. And with this in mind, some people are actually looking to ditch that SERP feature altogether. Several people have asked questions. Now, some of these questions are related, so I'm going to run through the questions first, and then we're going to go into some of those answers. Here's the first one from Chris Green. What do you do if you don't want the featured snippet? Good question. And here's another great question from Emily Hogarth. And Emily asks, when you lose the featured snippet, if you're not there, where are you? And that's a brilliant question, because it's always been the case before that your classic link, okay, had to be on page 1 to get the answer card, and if it dropped off, the day it drops off, you actually lose that. But how can it drop off if it's not there? Okay, now Chris King also wanted to know how to ditch the snippet, but on a site-wide level. And Chris asked, I'd like to know the best way of disallowing Google from displaying featured snippets on both a page and site level. Furthermore, where and how do you add that code on a site or page level? I'm now going to turn to Kevin Richards and Mark Williams Cook. Not sure which one of you guys came up with this first, but they provided a super interesting bit of information to actually reveal where your classic link is by removing the featured snippet temporarily from the search results. Okay, bit of genius, guys, so thank you very much. All you need to do is add ampersand num equals 9 after a Google search URL to show you where you would rank without a featured snippet, and this will actually help you to make a decision on whether or not you think it's worth removing the featured snippet, which I'm going to show you how to do now. John Brassington, head of search at Datametrics, has showed us how to get rid of our featured snippet on a site-wide level. Now, this is what John says. Add meta name equals robots, content equals no snippet to the head of every page. This kind of tag can also be applied to specific bits of text to control what Google can and cannot include in the featured snippet. You can also go through all your snippets and use the max length tag to truncate the ones you feel give too much away. A super interesting bit of information there. Thank you, John. Now, Google's developer guide has got some really great articles and information on this, showing you exactly what you need to do. There is a link in the description below and also on the blog, and there is a link to that below as well. Chris Green, thank you, Chris. He asked, if you had to choose, would you have the feature snippet or be in position 1? Okay, great question, Chris. But what if we could have both? What if we could continue to double up our real estate in the search results? Okay, let me illustrate this with an example. Right, what we're seeing here is the SERP matrix view for WebMD and filtered by WebMD, and this is for the search query muscular back pain relief. Now let's look pre 23rd of January. Let's look at Friday the 17th. Let's click on the answer card. Answer card from WebMD, upper and middle back pain. Let's move down to that first classic link, upper and middle back pain. And then you've got a second classic link, a classic link of complementary and related information, 14 ways to remove back pain. So let's see what's happening post update. Let's go to the 23rd. They've got the answer card, that's upper and middle back pain. And then the classic link, which one's it going to be? Well, the answer, I'm sure you've guessed by now, that's 14 ways to relieve it. The critical thing here is this content is semantically related but not duplicate, meaning that they can actually cluster those two pages. The first page that vanished has actually got a really good link using the appropriate anchor text to this complementary page, meaning they can maintain that real estate. And here is another example for a slightly different search term this time. This is low back pain relief. Let's pick on a date. Let's go to Monday the 20th. We've got an answer card there, 10 ways to manage low back pain at home. And then we've got a video, okay? And there's WebMD, how to do 5 stretches for back pain. And as we move down, there's their classic link, the page from which the featured snippet, the answer card, was actually taken from, 10 ways to manage low back pain. And then as we move to the 23rd, we've lost our classic link, but we're still doubling up our real estate in Google's search results because we've got the video there as well. And again, the video is a really well connected part of their ecosystem. And that's one thing that these guys are really good at, making the right connections between different entities and bits of content on their website. And the better you get at doing that, the better Google understands the relationship between these bits of content. So there's no reason why you still cannot own more of that valuable real estate. Okay, so what is this? What does all this tell us? Well, despite the update, Google can still return 2 URLs for one domain. And there is still a way to own both a featured snippet and a classic link. Okay, what do you need to do? Well, one thing I would think about doing, and certainly I would do a test on this, create some longer tail, semantically relevant complementary content that's not conflicting. Be careful about that, it's not going to conflict, okay? And then link from the first to the second, and you may well find that that starts to appear within the search results. Now, if you're an e-commerce site, make sure this is your product page. And again, be careful about cannibalization or internal conflict. It shouldn't cause it, but it's one thing you need to watch out for. Or create content, as we've seen, in a different format. For example, video. Again, it's all about owning more doorways in the SERPs into your world. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this information useful. Please feel free to comment below. You can actually download my updated featured snippet cheat sheet, and again, the information for that is below. Don't forget to sign up for my newsletter, and I look forward to seeing you all again soon. Thanks, guys.